Yeah, good morning to one and all. Myself, Y. Himat Kumar from Department of Civil Engineering. So today our topic is about what are the different types of online storage that is available. Our course code is 19CE4083 and course title is Solid and Hazardous Waste Management. In this first we are coming for with on-site storage. So whatever the first phase we have to do is the first phase to manage solid waste is at home level, and it requires facility for temporary storing of refuse on the premises. So individual householder or the businessman has a responsibility for on-site storage of solid waste. For individual homes, industries and other commercial centers, proper on-site storage of solid waste is the beginning of disposal, because unkept or simple dumps are source of nuisance, flies and all. So generally what we will be doing is on-site storage is a very important parameter in which we will be managing about the solid waste and all. So coming for the on-site storage, there are four factors that should be considered on on-site storage of solid waste. So first one is what is the type of container that we are using, whether that is a container that must be using in our household purpose or it is maintained by municipality and all. And next one is about the location where the containers are kept, whether it is designated at our home or it is designated at the outside of the street, or they will be coming and picking up. Depending upon the location, again it will be varying. Next one is the public health. If you are storing at outside of the street and all, generally the flies will be coming on, and which it will be damaging the health of the public. And next one is the collection method and time, like how frequently we are collecting the waste and all, as well as how much time we will be taking for those things and all. So these are the four key factors which it will be considered for on-site storage of solid waste, which we have to keep it in a regular manner. Coming for the next one, on-site processing is intended to improve disposal options, recover valuable resources and prepare materials for recovery as new products or energy. Obviously an engineer who would want to evaluate various processing operations for systems impact on the local and global environment, reliability, safety to workers in the local community, ease of operation, efficiency, economics and aesthetics. So generally by keeping all these parameters in while designing a on-site processing plant and all, an engineer should be in such a way that it should not impact the local and global environment, as well as the reliability, as well as the safety to the workers, and also whatever the efficiency, economics and all will be coming in the things and all. It should be in such a way that it should not be treated in such a way that it should not cause any damage to the environment as well as the people who is residing nearby. And coming for some of the objectives of solid waste processing will be including, that is one of the major one is the component separation, next one is the volume reduction, as well as next one is size reduction, as well as resource recovery. So coming for the component separation, generally nowadays municipality peoples are recommending such a way that whatever the waste that we are getting, they are telling from ourselves it is that we should separate in such a way that dry waste as well as wet waste. And also in our university our people are maintaining a separate bin such that where to dump the dry waste as well as waste waste, such that the separation process will be done easily, as well as comparing. Next one is the volume reduction as well as size reduction, next one is the resource recovery. Coming for the what are general several methods that are employed for solid waste disposal can be utilized is, first one is the ordinary open dumping, which nowadays people are not using. Previously, as the population is less, people is generally used to go for ordinary open dumping in a course of time as well as order of days and all. If the waste is dumping at a designated location and all, automatically some amount of smell will be generated, automatically flies and debris it will be rotating into the air and all, which is causing damage to the environment and all. Which nowadays ordinary open dumping is not preferable. And coming for the next one is the controlled tipping as well as burial. So controlled tipping like is nothing but whenever if you are going for open dumping, generally if you are going for continuously tipping those things and all, such that that waste can be used as a manure in the case of agriculture, or whatever the remaining thing that is removed, that is present, that it can be dumped into the landfills and all. And burial, if you can see, Generally we will be preferring burial in the case of a closed system, otherwise again the environment will be disturbed and all. Next one is about the hog feeding. Next one is the incineration, that is nothing but burning in the presence of oxygen. Next one is composting. As I said, whenever we are going for open dumping and all, we will be doing in such a way that whatever the reusable material that is present, that can be used as a compost in the case of agriculture and all. So which it will be coming under the composting and all. Next one is grinding and discharge into sewer. So whatever the waste that is not useful to us, which we cannot recycle, what generally we will be doing is we will be dumping it, we will be placing that material into a grinding machine such that it can be made into small piece and all, and automatically that waste will be again discharged into the sewer. Next one is dumping into the water. So whatever the dumping into the water bodies, nowadays people are not preferring that one. Previously we used to dump all the solid waste in the oceans and all, which is causing damage to the aquaculture. So for avoiding that one, nowadays people are going for dumping that one into the sewer as well as the landfills and all. Next one is the disposal in terms of the corpus and all. So these are the general methods which we will be using for the solid waste disposal in different categories and all. So coming for the next one is the control dipping, as I already explained. Control dipping or sanitary landfill is the most satisfactory method of refuse disposal where suitable land is available. So it differs from ordinary dumping in that material and placed in a trench or other prepared area adequately compacted and covered it with earth, and at the end of the day, the term modified sanitary landfill has been applied to those operations where compaction and covering are accomplished once and twice in a week. So this is about the control and dipping burial. Next one is the hog feeding, which generally we will not be recommending in terms of India. So refuse in ground well in grinders and then into the sewers. So next one is the disposal of the garbage into the sewers, whereas the BOD as well as total solids increased by 20 to 30%. So the disposal of residual refuse is still a problem. So this is about hog feeding and all. So coming for the outline of the presentation, which we have covered, first one of the important one is the incineration. So we will be burning the solid waste within a controlled panel such that the outside gases will not be released into the atmosphere, which is going to help to the environment and all. Next one is the pyrolysis. Next one are the composting methods. Also, what are the merits and demerits that we already discussed. And next one is the energy recovery, biomethylation, as well as uses of RDF and all. So these are the general things and all. So as I said and all, on-site storage is the first phase to manage solid waste at home level, and it requires facilities for temporary storing of refuse and premises. So individual householders or the businessman has a responsibility to on-site storage of the solid waste. So for individual homes, industries and other commercial centers, proper on-site storage of solid waste is the beginning of disposal, because unkept of single dumps are source of nuisance, flies, smells and other hazards. So there are 4 factors that should be considered on on-site storage of solid waste. Those are nothing but the type of container to be used, the location where the containers to be kept, next one is the public health, and next one is the collection method and the time. So generally we will be preferring to collect the material day by day such that nuisance will not be created. And next one is the on-site processing is intended to improve the disposal options, recover valuable resources and prepare materials for recovery as new products or energy. Obviously, engineer would who want to evaluate various processing options for systems impact on the local and global environment, reliability, safety to workers and the local community, ease of operation, efficiency, economics and aesthetics. And coming for some of the objectives of solid waste processing include the component separation, volume reduction, size reduction as well as the resource recovery. Generally there are several methods of solid waste that can be utilized. So first one is the ordinary open dumping, next one is the controlled dipping and burial, next one is the hog feeding, next one is incineration, composting, grinding and discharge into the sewer and dumping into the water bodies, next one is disposal of the corpus and all. So generally controlled dipping or central landfill is the most satisfactory method of refuse disposal where suitable land is available. It differs from ordinary dumping in that material and placed in a trench or other prepared area adequately compacted and covered with earth at the end of the working day. The term modernly modified central landfill has been applied to those operations where compaction and covering are accomplished once or twice in a week. Coming for the last one, that is hog feeding, that is not common in India. So refuse is ground well in grinders and then are fed into the sewers. So disposal of garbage into sewers, total BOD and TSS increased by 20 to 30%. So disposal of residual refuse, it is still a problem problem. So that's why hog feeding is not preferable in India. So coming for the outline and all, again we have discussed about the incineration, pyrolysis, composting methods, merits and demerits, energy recovery and biomethanation, as well as use of RDF. Thank you and all.